brothers who suffer so much in Middle East and in other countries also. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and in the hour of our death. Amen. Mary, seat of wisdom. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So I will begin this class by reading with you in the social agenda a few articles presenting the criticism of capitalism. So it's not the work of the Father Michel Legault, is the thought of the Catholic Church. And it is taken from the Catholic Catechism of the Church. Okay? So number 210, you have that? You don't have your social agenda with you? Ah, okay. No. Social agenda is the document I gave you.
Yeah, the first class.
Yes. No, the beginning of the year. Huh? Social agenda. Social agenda.
What article?
If you don't know what is the social agenda, that means you don't use it many times.
He's asking the page.
Aha! It's a good test, huh? So, that is a mine. Huh? That document is a mine. At least open it, know where you put it. Okay? And that is, I know you are pressed by many other subjects, but you know, you have to give some time. I don't give you a lot of paper to write, I want you to read a little bit, consecrate a minimum. And that, the document, social agenda, is for me the best, because it gives you the essential. Of course, the compendium is the classical. The Pope Francis spoke in his Evangelii Gaudium, he has a paragraph on compendium here, on that book, as I think the best book for the synthesis of the teaching of the Church on social matters. Okay? So I read the text here. So the Church has rejected the totalitarian and atheistic ideologies associated with modern times. With communism or socialism, she has likewise, important for us, because sometimes they say the Church condemn socialism, condemn or criticize, but be careful also, in the text. She always has likewise refused to accept in the practice of capitalism what the Church does not want to accept: individualism. And we saw that individualism is at the center of the system, self-interest. And the absolute primacy of the law of marketplace over human labor. Remember, absolute free market. Absolute free market. Okay, Jean-Paul II said, yes, free market, but control free market. If you don't control, you are to abuse, because there is no limit for greed. When somebody, greed is like alcohol. Whenever, it's funny, an alcoholic is drinking, his thirst is never satisfied. He's always thirsty. So it's the same, thirsty for money. Regulating the economy solely by centralized planning perverts the basing of social bonds. Regulating is, that he criticizes communism here. Regulating it solely by the law of marketplace fails social justice. For there are many human needs which cannot be satisfied by market. Many needs. For example, the need to be loved. A child has the need to be loved. Husband has the need, and wife has the need to be loved. You know, to be loved, to be protected is not calculated in money. Can you calculate in money the work of your mother, the devotion of your mother for you and for your sister and brothers? So you cannot take as a criterion the free market to organize the society. Society is not dependent on free market. But free market is a tool, a necessary tool. for economy. Even in communist countries, they have market, no? In Vietnam, they have markets, no? You go to the store, you buy, so, you know? But control, too much. It is not at all or too much. So the middle is just enough. Huh? The middle, okay? I continue. Irreasonable regulation of the marketplace and economy initiative in keeping with the just hierarchy of values. That is important. Just hierarchy of values. And what is for the Catholic Church, for each of us, I think, it is the criterion is the respect of the human person. And that is not to be necessary to be a Catholic for that. Even some atheists, they respect the human person. But the foundation of society is not money. The foundation of society is the human person. And a view to the common good. So hierarchy of value and the common good. So the common good must be the first, not my self-interest. Of course, common good exclusively is not good. The self-interest exclusively is not good. It is at the same time the common good and my self-interest. The Church never denied we have that self-interest is bad. No, never said that. What she said, when it is the first goal, my self-interest after the common good. No, the common good and my interest. We cannot suppress interest because we cannot act without any motive. We saw that. And the second paragraph, number 211. Returning now to the initial question, that it perhaps be said that after the failure of communism, capitalism is the victorious social system, and that capitalism should be the goal of the countries now making effort to rebuild their economy and society. So it is because in many countries communism fell down that necessarily capitalism is the best answer. You know, that is the question. What is the answer to that question? Is this the model we ought to be proposed to the countries of the third world? That's the big question. The Church asks, is the capitalist system the best system to propose to the nation, developing nation? Those begin to build their economy. They have to build an economy on self-interest or on the common good or on both. In fact, a society needs both. You know, be attentive. The Church favors the common good as a priority on self-interest, but the Church does not deny self-interest. It is a matter. You know, the Church recognizes that is what is good in capitalism. Self-interest is good, but it is not good when it is the first reason of action and when it is the exclusive. So that is, be careful. The Church does not, it's the same in communism, not everything is bad. Otherwise, if you read the Acts of the Apostle, chapter 2, when they put everything in common, the first Christians, they were communists. Huh? But they were not forced to be communists. They became communists by the love of God and their brothers. Okay. So I go. The answer, that is important. Huh? The answer is complex, of course. Huh? If now, you know, what is the definition of capitalism? If by capitalism is meant an economic system which recognizes the fundamental and positive role of business, that means the market, and the market, don't forget, is not an end, it is a mean. The private property, we saw that, we have a chapter on that, don't forget. Because private property is the center of the economic problem. Okay? So property, we saw it is a necessity, but it is not an absolute. That's the difference. It is a tool, a necessary tool, but it's not the absolute finality of men on earth. I continue. As well as free human creativity in the economic sector, free human creativity, freedom of enterprise, free enterprise, then the answer is certainly in the affirmative, even though it will perhaps be more appropriate, and the church proposed a new term, not to use the word capitalism, a business economy, or a market economy, or simply free economy. It will be better to say free economy than to say capitalism. Because capitalism comes from the word caput here. That means everything for myself, I am the center. That is the word capital. What is the word capital? Washington is the capital of the United States. Ottawa is the capital of Canada. Paris is the capital of France. What is the capital means the first, the most important. What is the most important in your person is your brain, your head. Caput, capitis. So here, it is better to use another term, because when you use capitalism, immediately it is something centered on one theory, myself. But if you speak about business economy, does not imply selfishness, because on the economy first is at the service of the people. Economos, you remember, oikos in Greek means the house, the home, the house, and nomos means to run. So economy is the fact we are able to administer correctly house, correctly institution, correctly a country. It's not to mean that everything goes in the pocket of someone. Okay? And so that if we accept that, capitalism is good. But when you accept that, you suppress many things capitalists want to keep. You suppress the non-control. You suppress that the primacy for self-interest. But the economy in itself is not capitalist. Economy in itself is a service for the population. We cannot say economy is only for capitalism. When you look at China today, you cannot deny that China is a communist country. It is also a very big economic organization, no? Well, if you don't believe me, go to Walmart, go to Target, and buy anything, and look at what is written, made in. Even some babies in the United States made in China. No, but sometimes we have the mentality people have, it is black or white. Everything is good in capitalism, everything is bad in Marxism, communism. No, we have to criticize. What is to criticize is to find what is good and what is not good in everything. There is many good things in capitalism. Of course, we cannot deny, but there is also many bad things. In communism, there is very good thing. Yes. Even you see the change in Russia and the change in China, in 50 years, you have to recognize that it was a great step. Never the Russians were so educated under the Tsar. And today they have a comfort, they have the life, the quality of life raised a lot in 50 years. We cannot deny that. In China, it's obvious. So there is something good, but there is something bad also. So next class we study Marxism. We study what is good and what is bad. So I insist on that because I am here for many years, and the mentality, if you are not a capitalist, you are a socialist, you are a communist. Now, what is good in the system in which we live? What is wrong? Why what is wrong? Because we have to improve that. Otherwise, if there is no correction, what is wrong will be worse and worse and worse, and poorer. The people will become someone poorer and poorer. At the same time, someone become richer and richer. I continue the text here. So, always as free, okay. Then the answer is certainly affirmative, even though it will be perhaps to choose new names, business economy, market economy, or free economy. I continue, but if by capitalism, is meant a system in which freedom in the economic sector is not controlled within a strong juridical framework. That is the central problem is here. Capitalism does not want any control, or a control only if the control favors their own interest. But here, he said no, it must be controlled. And we have a good proof of that in 2008. I taught that to you last class, I think. I don't want to, Reagan, suppressed some laws of control of the economy. In 2008, we have the consequence of that. In those countries, did not change they continue to control. For example, Canada continued to control. People fought to imitate Reagan, but they said, no, we continue, we have a good system. In 2008, we have no problem in my country, not a single problem. Here, with a lot of problems. The control it is necessary. When you play soccer, when you play football, can you play without a referee? Without rules? We must. When we are together, we must have some rule. We cannot say, I run the business without a rule. So if you have no rule in football, but, there will be a lot of injustice. Huh? Maybe we'll cheat, huh? But the referee is there to watch if you cheat. Huh? Okay? That is the central problem is here, the control. Don't forget Jean-Paul II. No? Control, free market. Only one adjective, control, change. If you control, you can avoid the imperfection, the limitation of the system we call capitalism. Okay. Which is placed at the service of human freedom, and it's totally, and sees it at a particular aspect of that freedom. The core of which, that's important, the central, is ethical and religious. Because the capitalists, they want to separate totally economy as a science and philosophy and religion and all that apart. So this economy, there is no ethical dimension. In here, no, there is ethical dimension. Why? What is the subject of economy? It is man. Man is an ethical being. So we cannot use, for example, if economy is a tool, we must use a tool as a human being, When you have a saw, you have a hammer, you have a gun, you must use it as a human being. It's the reason why we don't give that to your dog or to a monkey. Imagine I go to the zoo, I give a gun to a monkey. I think you have to run away, huh? You understand, no? So the most important is not the tool. The most important is the end. Why we have that tool? The economy is a tool. And the end is man. So man is the subject of economy, is the one who produces, make economy, at the same time is the end of economy. So we have to respect the human right. And man is also, a relation with God. We saw that in every culture there is a relation with God or gods, with something superior. So we have also to take care, not to exclude from economy any kind of religious aspect. So we cannot say economy is for the Monday to Saturday and faith is for Sunday when you go to the temple. Okay, so I think it is clear here. I will not continue, but you have the essential. The paragraph 213, 213, the Pope speak about the free market. In those paragraphs here, you have the essential, and the compendium exactly the same also. So I think it is a Christian sociality. So I have to not only to criticize as the point of view of a simple philosopher, but a philosopher who is Christian. So is the reason why I suggest you to read that. Those texts are fundamental. Yeah, I know, I am realistic, you have no time to read the encyclical. You will do that in theology because they have plenty of time. But in philosophy, you are too busy. Read at least those texts, because they give you the essential. Cardinal Tuan, when he was presiding that, he chose what a Christian must know. So that it is a good tool. Okay? David Schweigart, I hope, I wish, I ask you to read that. It is a parable. Huh? You compare economy in the United States to a parade. Huh? And during 45 minutes, you have a little dwarf, huh? 3 feet high. And after that, during 10 minutes, you have normal men, 5 feet 8 inches, 10 inches or 6 feet. You know. And finally, you have for about 1 minute, giant. Is 8 times higher than the Everest mountain. So you know, zip, zip, like that. And those here control a lot. And that you have some statistics we will use soon. Huh? Okay. So yeah, if you go to, I gave you a paper here called Criticism of Capitalism. Huh? You have that. Huh? Okay, let us go to that page. And after I will come back on the text of Mr. Schweizgart. So the positive aspect. Every time, you know, don't forget that in your life you will be a superior or professor, teacher, or social worker. When you have to make a report, when you have to judge a situation, always give the positive aspect. Criticism of capitalism. You have that? You have that. I'm sure I gave that to you. Not today, last week, when you said that last week.
On page 17. Page 17.
Okay, I come back to it. You know, when you criticize, you make a report, give always something positive. And after that, give the negative. They give the positive to because it's true. In every person, there is something good. So yeah, that sometimes we forget that. Huh? Okay, so what are the positive? First, affirmation of man's freedom. But that is a good thing, to affirm that man is free. But what is not good is to affirm that he is absolutely free. That is different. Everybody found it?
Yes.
Okay. Encouragement to personal initiative. That is excellent. And the success of many countries is because people have the capacity to create new enterprises, new industries. That is, it is the motor of progress. It is a way to share in the creation of God. Don't forget that. Work is great. We saw that. Huh? Okay. So that is a plus. Huh? Personal interest and motivation is a powerful motor to economic life. So that is obvious. It's recognized by the church. We must have always a motivation. I cannot study. I cannot work. I cannot play. I cannot practice exercises without a motivation. We have always, and the motivation is my personal interest. It's not a sin for a worker to work for himself and for his family. It's not a sin. It is a duty. It is a duty to take care of you. Sometimes we forget that. We have the obligation under mortal sin to eat. Because if you don't eat, you suicide. You know, sometimes we forget those elementary things. So the personal interest is not evil. It is good. What is evil? Exclusively. When we don't take care of the common good. No? That is evil. But the personal interest in itself is to have a good grade. When you say, oh, I want to have an A at my oral examination in the philosophy of God, is it a sin? No. It's virtue. It's virtue. Yeah, of course, you don't want to have an A only for the E, because you want to become a good teacher, you become a priest, you become a social worker. But motivation is the nerve of action. We said that in every action we do, there must be a motivation. So self-interest is not evil. Exclusively self-interest, exclusive, that is evil. Okay, 3. Favors progress and research. That is so true. But we cannot say, be careful, we cannot say that it's exclusive to capitalism. When you look at Russia, when you look at China, Who sent the first man into the space? Russia. No, USSR. Not Russia, USSR. It's not the same. Okay? And that was Kennedy said, hey, we have to do something. And okay. Provokes creation of new jobs by developing industry. That is excellent. Why? Because if we give a fish to a man, you feed him for one day. If you give him a job, you feed him and his family for the rest of the time. You know. So it is very, very important that even in your in future, if you have to organize something, try to be aware of that. Huh? Not charity is not only to give. Charity is to give job. Charity is to create work. Charity is to make a farmer able to have a land to work on it. It's not to give, okay, don't work, I give you. No, not it's charity. Charity, it is to men, because working is a part of the dignity of the human being. The ideal of human being is not to spend his time in Florida on the beach. The ideal of human being is to work, to produce something, and to share in the creation of God. Okay?
So, Father, with this now, how can we assess the system of food stamp? You know?
No. In every country, she just said, you will have always poor among you. So that means...
No, what I'm saying is that, because sometimes you see this different argument regarding that, that maybe, you know, as we continue to give sometimes, people see it as an opportunity not to become, you know, productive. You know.
Of course, anybody can exploit the system. Huh? But we cannot say because someone exploits the system that everyone exploits the system. You know? That means the majority want to have a job. The majority want to be independent. You know, to be a beggar is not human dignity. I never know if you beg for another one. For example, the Jesuits during their second year on novitiate in the past in Quebec, in Canada, they have to beg. So imagine the Jesuit, the young Jesuit, they have to beg. Oh la la. Huh? Personally, I find that very difficult. My life, I was a boy, I would beg for orphan with a can, put money in that. But, you know, the dignity of man is to be autonomous, to be autonomous, okay? But, you know, it is not because there is necessity to help the poor, that it is necessary to keep them poor. The best charity and the best justice is to make them get out of their poverty. And how we can put them out of their poverty through only work. It's the reason why I am very, very happy with Mr. Buffett. He's rich, but he has the good intuition. He says, I will help the people by creating jobs. When you create a job, you help the people. You know? Okay? So elevation of the standard of life. That is so true. You did not. You have when you were born in the United States, already you have television, radio, telephone, refrigerator. When I was born, I have nothing on that. Radio, yes, whole radio. No refrigerator in Montreal. No telephone. I remember the first time we received the telephone. It was a great heathen. Amers, our indicative was Amers, 5104. Telephone. The first time we used the telephone. The first time I saw a television, the 16th of August, 1952, at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Wow. The first time I saw television in my life, I remember that clearly. There is a progress, a progress. When I was young, we heat with wood. Now we eat with electricity. So we cook with charcoal. Now we cook with gas or with oil. There is a progress. Refrigerator. We have to run after the truck. There was a horse hauling a wagon. The wagon was filled with ice. because they cut the ice during the winter, and during the summer they sell that on the, and we run after them to suck the ice like a candy. At that time, the water was not polluted in the St. Lawrence River. So that, you know, there is a problem. We cannot deny that. But be careful, it's not exclusive to capitalism. Chinese know that. The progress in China is incredible. They did in 50 years what you did in 200 years. It's the same in Russia. So what we must aware, that is a reality, positive, not negative reality. Absolute freedom. That's the word absolute. That is the, we cannot accept. Because we have to obey the law of nature. We have to obey a law of ethics. Of course, if a priori there is no ethics in economy, that you are totally master, you can do what you want, you can throw million, the third of the bread produced, maybe 10%, 30% are thrown every Monday on the garbage. Go this morning and Walmart, not Walmart, but beyond some big, and you are able to find those things. Our Father Ménard, when he founded our seminaries in Montreal, around Montreal, that he went to the store and we ate during the week the bread he was not able to sell. Instead of dumping that into the garbage, he was dumping it in our mouths. Secondly, no natural law flowing from eternal law, and no control. Why? Because economy is a physical law, physical nature, like chemistry, like biology. 3, determinism. If it is scientific, if economy is a science, of course, economy is determinist, and determined, so no place for free decision. We have to follow the mechanism of the market, the common market. Materialism. Officially, never we say officially that there is only one reality matter. But in fact, everything is reduced to economy. Practically, it's not the difference between the materialism of capitalism and the materialism of communism. Materialism of communism is ideology. It is a dogma of faith. Materialism in capitalism is the consequence of the way of we live, you know. Finally, the goal is to make money, to have fun, hedonism now, and there is no reality after, because there is no supernatural reality interfering in economy. If you are a believer, it's up to you, go to church, but don't mix your religion and your ethics in my business, you know, okay? Materialism, in fact, we are soaked with that. And when you listen to the speech of the last campaign in Canada, almost everywhere, speak economy, 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 economy. Recently, one of the candidates, I think it's Paul Rand, what is the candidate? Rand? Paul Rand. One of the candidates is say, I will speak also about the other subject than economy. Speak about the human person, the studies, the hospital, health, all those things. We cannot reduce everything to economy. It's a big temptation. Positivism, but the science is searching and controlling only what we can measure. So they need only the facts. And the facts in Latin, they positivism. So we know, and so if the science, economy is a science, so the science of economy is positivism, so we can only observe what is there and no intervention of something outside of the sphere of measure, experimentation, okay? Control, material control. Positivism, you saw that in another class, is for example, when we study the evolution, the desire. So positivism say we know only matter. If you think there is other thing than matter, you are not a scientist. Of course, a scientist cannot affirm there is nothing, there is something outside of matter. but they reduce everything to control of matter, measure matter, the facts, positivism. Rejection of ethics, religion, I explained that. The relativism, individualism. And that is a contradiction. What strikes me in capitalism is the contradiction. On one side, they affirm determinism, with positivism, with science. Huh? On the other side, they affirm absolute freedom. How they can conciliate that? Huh? Freedom and determinism. So if everything is determined, why we can speak about freedom? That is, and the consequence of that absolute freedom is that everyone has his own opinion, everyone works for his own interest. So there is no universal law, universal control of ethics. What make us acting, for example, for the good, not to kill? That is a universal law, you know, and to respect the reputation of others, and to that is universal law. How we can explain that? Because we have a general, universal concept. If we have a universal concept, we should accept universal law. But the difficulty here is they confound nature and nature. Confound natural law and natural law. Our natural law and their natural law is not the same. We use the same word. For example, like, in St. Thomas and the church, we speak about natural law. That means we have to obey the law of our nature. So I'm a man, I must act as a man. And that law is not coming from me. That law is coming from the author of the law. Okay? That is natural law. But for positivists, there is natural law. But they have the law of mechanics, the law of hydrostatic, the law of electricity, you know, the law of biology. So it's the same word, not the same meaning. In that, we must be aware of that. And when we speak about economy, they speak about natural law, not of natural law coming from eternal law. They speak about natural law coming from positive law. Huh? So science, economy is a science. Of course it's a science. Like sociology, it's not an absolute science. Sociology is not absolute. There is other sciences also. Like mathematics is not absolute. They have other science working together. So utilitarianism, we saw that, huh? We measure the value of things to their efficiency, to their result. Huh? And in ethics, consequentialism. You remember that? Consequentialism. We judge the morality of an action to its consequences, to its success. In fact, the end justifies the means. Huh? The end justifies the means. So you can make a lot of money, you can destroy the equatorial forest, you can kill Indians, but you want to produce all ethanol for your car, so you don't take care of the, you know. That is, at the same time, we judge the value of an action to its consequence, but we don't respect natural law in our sense. That means natural law depending on the eternal law. The confusion is there. Natural law on one side, natural law on the other side. So when the economists say we must to obey the law of nature in market, that is here. When we say we have to obey the law of nature, to respect life, not to abort, etc., not to kill, we are on the side of the natural law flowing from eternal law. So utilitarianism. Selfish interest is the supreme law and finality. The law of the strongest. So we see that many times. The big store arrive and destroy all the little store, you know. and make a lot of people dependent. Maybe I told that to you. I said that in many classes. When I was in Yugoslavia in 1971, I discovered that Tito, I told that to you? No? No. Tito, or in English Tito, Tito, the leader of Yugoslavia, allowed people to have, to possess a store, to possess an industry, possess in communist country, but no more than 20 employees. So if we have in a restaurant, for example, no more than 20 seats, no more than 20 employees in the business. And they were very good. In fact, it was the system we had up to 1950 in the United States. There was not big store before 1950, no? Not a few one in New York, Mahasi, but in the old little town like Middletown, there was no supermarket. Supermarket came after the Second War. Huh? It's an invention of the Second War. Why? Because of the car. The car became more and more spread, so the people were able to use their car to go to the supermarket. But before that, what? Your parent, your grandparents did not know. I did not know a young supermarket. It is only in the 1960s it became a big supermarket. So before that, there was a lot of little shop. A butcher, a sewer, a shoemaker, a painter, everyone shop. And the people went from one to the other, and everyone was happy, were able to make, they were not rich, they were not poor. One big store arrived, what happened? All that disappeared. All that disappeared, and now we have big store. And those who were independent, those who were autonomous, now they become the slave of the other. Is it a progress? Economically, it's a progress, because some make a lot of money. But those who lost their job, lost their the store they have from their father and their grandfather, it disappeared. So we have to always to think about that. Huh? Can I measure the value of a thing only to the success, only to the dollar? Huh? We have to take care of the human person. I told you that in Mexico, a few years ago, the government intervened with a company. The company was settled in Mexico and gave a good salary, maybe 2, 3, 4 times higher than the salary there. They wanted to be generous, so they wanted to give to them the minimum salary we have in the United States. And the government said, don't do that, because they disturb the economy. Imagine in a town in Mexico, the average maybe is $50 a week, suppose. And the American company, for the same work, they give $150. What will happen? Everybody will want to work there, and they will stop to work in their own culture. And they say, no, give the same salary. In many countries, for example, in Cameroon, the government fixes the maximum and the minimum of the salary. Because if there is inequality, you know, we have to adapt to every situation. Every situation. Okay, so here, selfish, the law of the strong, hedonism, pleasure, Epicurean. In fact, capitalist is liberalism is a hedonist philosophy. Pleasure, hedone in Greek means the pleasure. And but you look, we speak about only pleasure. Check every advertising during one day on television. Pleasure. They fed beauty, they fed comfort, fun. When do they speak about beauty? You remember what John Kennedy said? Huh? Don't ask what your country has to do for you. Ask what you do for your country. So we are in a mentality of enjoying everything. Fun must be everywhere, even in class. not in philosophy, you're too serious for that. But you know, little boy now, if they want to learn, they must have fun. If there is no fun, they don't study. So must break fun up. So they prepare tablet. Huh? Now they have a tablet and they have fun with B2. And is life a fun? Life is not fun. No, it's true. Life is not fun. But if all your child, all your adolescents, you have fun, and a day you have a baby, it's not the fun. You have to wake up during the night, you have to take care of it. So responsibility are not fun. Is the reason why so many young people don't want to marry. They want to have the fun without the responsibilities. They were educated and fun. So why? Because our culture is hedonistic. That means hedonistic. We want pleasure is the central. Everything was pleasant. Is the reason why it's difficult sometimes to teach students some very serious subject, mathematics, for example. Why? If there is a crisis of mathematics, of mathematicians in the United States, you know, Obama, he said, one of the big problems now in our society, we have not enough mathematicians. We have to go to India, to other countries, and to invite them to, because mathematics is serious, it's not fun. Okay, it's fun when I see through 3 cars, for 4 cars, I have 7 cars. And when you are at a higher level, it is here, abstraction. That is a big problem. Huh? It is very, for those who see the future, if our society is based on fun, as soon as there is some difficulty, suicide. And the number of suicide of young is huge. It's huge. Many. They don't talk too much about that because not to give the idea of doing the same thing. Huh? But it's a sad reality. Hedonism does not prepare for responsibilities. Huh? Okay? So it's important in education to give responsibilities to children. Responsibilities. Go to the market, I buy that, do that. You give them a land, cultivate that. They have to take a responsibility. Otherwise, they will stay like adolescents their whole life. Huh? Progress for progress. We saw that. Huh? The progress is the finality. But we don't know why we are progressing, but we progress. No. Progress must be motivated otherwise than by progress. We must know where we are going. And suppose somebody say, okay, now we are going in this curve, we have to walk. 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 More and more. We walk to walk. But you say, hey, where are we going to? Huh? If I walk, I must know where I am going. Huh? So there must be a finality, progress. Huh? For progress is not acceptable. The dichotomy between religion, ethics on one side, and economy and business and industry on the other side. For example, an industrial must be attentive to the quality of life of his worker. He must be attentive to that. Of course, he has to pay something. You know, we have a pollution of the air. It is possible to empty that pollution. It is possible that the big company with huge chimney, instead of sending that in the air, they can collect that and they have the power to do that. But they don't want to pay. And the consequence is it is rain as acid rain. Acid rain. Acid rain is not an invention. Acid rain, they kill the leaves. When the CO2 with water make H2CO3, acid, carbonic acid, that carbonic acid falls on the trees in Vermont, in Maine, in Quebec, in Ontario, and they kill a lot of trees. It is evaluated that 25% of maple trees are killed by acid rain, coming from Virginia, coming from Pennsylvania. But if we want to purify the air, we have to control the chimney. That gas, we can put that in some, we can reduce that, but it is expensive. Some countries, they did that. Some countries, they did that. Why we cannot do that? Huh? So that is the fight for ecology. In fact, ecology is a fight against capitalism. Capitalism and ecology, they don't go together. Capitalism is not very happy with ecology. You know, ecology is the respect of nature, huh? Because they want to make more and more and more money, and at a less price. Huh? Okay, cost. 13. The worker is considered as a tool, and its value depends on the efficiency. So it is a reason why it is very difficult for a man after 50, even 45 years old to find a good job. I met, I told that to you, maybe I met here in Connecticut, someone in a meeting. He's 52, he was 52 at that time. He has a very good job at Pratt & Whitney, but they closed the plant to send that another place, of course, it's less expensive. But that man, he was a specialist. He's 52 years, he is married with children, wife. He has no job. You know? So the worker is not considered in that problem. We should always think about the worker. We satisfy the benefit of some shareholders, and we create a big problem. Finally, who pays for that? Your country, you. Not the shareholder, you. Because every time, who pays for the food stamp? Each of you. With your taxes are taken, are paid for that. So we must be aware. It's the same when you go to baseball or football, and you say, oh, that player, his salary is $3 million. Oh, yeah, he pitched it. It's a very gold ball, $3 million. Who pays for that? You. When you buy a Budweiser, huh? In the Budweiser, a part go to the pitcher. You pay for that. It's not a free gift, huh? We are sometimes naive. Oh, it was very good. $23 million for 5 years. That man is important, more important than the President of the United States. Huh? You know, the value, huh? The value. Huh? So is the worker considered for his human value? So that is the difference between when the church says, okay, you have to make benefit, but never forget your worker. Never forget your worker. Imagine a worker with 4 children, 3 children, unemployed. He told me, I cannot find a job. Of course, he can wash dishes in a restaurant. But you know, if you are an engineer, no? When Enron fell down, no? About 6-7 years ago, no? Enron, the biggest company of energy in the United States, they fell down, they went in bankruptcy. 4,000 employees with very good salary, they went out unemployed. Is the worker, is the human being at the center of economy? Or is only the profit? That is the big question. Huh? And as a priest, you have to face that. Because in your parish, you will have some parishioners, they have like that man. You will find parishioners, they will suffer because they lost their job. Good job. Now they are too old, 52, not an old man, you cannot find a job. Because it will cost too much. It's preferred to hire a young worker, 25 years old, and to have a low salary than an old man. Old man, 50 is not old. Huh? But for the big shot, is old. You know? It's the same for some company, they don't want to hire full-time. So if suppose the full-time must be 14 hours a week, they will hire only for 13 hours. Because if you are full-time, you have some right, you don't have, you have partial time. So they don't want to have full-time, to make more money. But the worker who works in that business as a wife, he has children. And they have the right to go to college, the right to go to university, the right to go to hospital. You know, you have to form the conscience. You know, that class is very important. The church insists that in seminary we give class of sociality because we are the leader, the future leader. And don't forget, when you will be a priest, I speak about seminarian, it's good for sister. You know, when you be a priest, you will say the Mass, half an hour in the morning, maybe a short homily. You will say your breviary full speed, because we are very busy. A short adoration, and after that you spend the day, most of the time, about social problem.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Problem of divorce, problem of injustice, problem of abortion. That is the reality. You are not a priest to pray. You are a priest to take care of the poor. Of course, if you are a monk in your monastery, it's different. Even the monk, people not Father, we need Father, even the monk. That is a reality. So it's important that you have a social conscience. That is my function here. To try to give you a social conscience. To say, not everything is perfect in my society. What can I do to improve that? That is the reality. If you think you will be quiet in your rectory, change, become a lawyer or another job. You will not be at ease. No, you are called to help people. And more they are, even in big cities like New York, like Los Angeles, like Montreal, we have more and more people, they are affected by the problem of economy. At the same time, economy is progressing. At the same time, we are more and more poor people. Imagine your family. Suppose your father lost his job when you were 12 years old. What will happen to you and to your mother? No more able to pay your bill, no more able to pay the rent of your apartment, no more able to put gas in the car, no more able to buy a car. Huh? So you will go to another place in social houses, etc. Okay, I continue. Pragmatism. That pragmatism is linked with consequentialism and what I said before, pragmatism linked with utilitarianism. Now, negative aspect, disorder production, the dumping. The dumping is a sad reality. They produce. It is better to produce and to dump that than to stop diminish the production. Because if you diminish the production, maybe you have some problem with the employee, right? And also so we can produce artificial crisis. And the Pope Francis recently spoke about dumping. He did not use the word dumping, but used the word that a large part of the food is not used. A large part. If we have to use all the food we have on earth, they will less poorer people, unemployment, unjust distribution of wealth, growing inequality. In the text of Mr. Schweizer, you have I give you that here, inequality. You have that? Huh? Page V to A. That it is a statistic from 2002. Oh, but you know the situation is not improving. Huh? You know that. Huh? Situation is worsening. So here you have two. You have the income, what the salary, the money enter in your pocket. You have that. Everybody find that V2A. Document V2A. Dr. Schweizka. I think you are not familiar with document, huh? Whose self-interest, huh? Whose self-interest? That's the document. Whose self-interest? You have that, no? One discovered that. Okay, so you have the population divided in three parts, huh? Three parts. So in the income, what you have as a salary, huh? You find that?
I think W7, not
W7 for you?
yeah. It's right.
W7. Okay, W7. In your edition. And you have the
different side.
okay. So you have 60% of the population have the third of the income. 60. 30% of the population has the third, and 10% has the third. That means if one person in 100 receive 55 cents, the other they receive $1.10, and the other receive $3.30. So that means 60% receive 55 cents, and the other 10% have 6 times their salary. No, that is the income. It is, we cannot say it is equal. It is quite different. To receive 50 cents, and my brother there with the big Ferrari, he has $3. Okay. Now the wealth, the difference income is what you receive for your work, but the wealth it is what you capitalize, what you accumulate. Accumulate. The rich, the wealth accumulate in the country. 90% of the population own only the third of the wealth of the United States in 2002. That means 99% on 10 control only the third of the wealth of the nation. 9% control the second third, and 1% control the third. We call that equality. Democracy is based on equality. That is, 1% in 100 owns 37 cents. Secondly, 1% on 1 owns 3.67 cents. $3.67. That means 10 times more. And finally, 1% possesses $33. So from 30 cents to $33. 1%. 1% control the third of the economy. Possess. That means, be careful, 9 plus 1 equal 10. That means 10% control the 2/3 of the wealth of the nation. That means on 3%, 2 control the 2/3, 10%, 1 on 10 control the 2/3 of the richness of your country. And that is not only for the United States, the same in many other countries, Western countries, no? Even communist countries also. And we have the proof of that when the communist regime fell down in 1989, 1919, immediately we have billionaires in the country. Why? Because they were members of Communist Party, they were the Aparici. No? That means capitalism exists, even in communist country. And my surprise when I was in Moscow in 1971, 72, I discovered that everyone has a bank account, and they can put in the bank account the money, the little money they have. But at the end, when the regime changed, we were surprised to see that they want a big account. You know? I don't know how they put the money there, but it was a fact. No? And that those people, they run the business now in Russia. You know? There is, in fact, capitalism is everywhere. Even the Communist Party, they work for themselves. No? They work for themselves. Officially, they work for the common good, but finally, you know, they are not sent, they are not ready to be canonized. Huh? So what I did, that is to show you that there is no real justice. When we speak about equality, equality is the equality to use a pencil every 4 years and to write an X after a name. That is the equality of the usage of pencil. But in reality, there is no equality. And don't forget, democracy is based on equality. So with such system, can we speak really seriously, without laughing, about real democracy? When we have dwarf, after that a little one, normal and giant, we speak about equality. Is it the same? Bill Gates and Mr. Buffett and your father or your brother or yourself? Can you go to and say, you know, no. When Bill Gates speaks and Buffett speaks and you speak, it's not the same thing. You can say the same thing, but you know, it's the same. If a deacon speaks here and a little acolyte is not the same. The thing about that is the reason why many times I dare to say, don't say that to CIA, I dare to say that there is no real democracy, it's a plutocracy. Plutocracy. Pluto, wealth, in Greek, rich. Plutocracy. The government by the rich. Who possess the newspaper? Who control news, Fox News? Who control all those things? Joe Blow? No. Someone, only a few ones. In England, you have the same problem recently, where you realize that one man controls maybe 50 newspapers. And TV station, we call that democracy. We call that democracy when 300,000 Catholic and Protestant, they go on watch on Washington for abortion, to fight against abortion, for pro-life, and almost no station speaks about that. But they kill a cat or a dog, they torture a cat immediately. It is a national. A crocodile bite a boy in Florida. It is national news. It's controlled. There is no freedom of press. You cannot say what you want. And somebody told me, if during electoral campaign you speak about the problem of Israel, you are sure you will lose your election. Think, a reflection. Sometimes I know when I speak about that, I make many enemies. But it's not because I am not an American, I said that. If I was an American, I would say the same thing. We must be aware of that. But what can we do? If you are a priest, if you become, if you have someone who are rich, and someone are the government, and they go to Mass on Sunday, you can talk with them. No? You can sensibilize them to the social justice. You can invite them to read the document of the church. In some countries, like in European countries, they have we call it social week. Every year or every 2 years, they have a social week, and all the Catholics who are responsible in politics, in economy, they meet for 1 week, and that 1 week is consecrated to study the problem of justice in their country, and to try to find something to change. Not only priests, and lay people. Businessmen, Catholic businessmen. So it is an institution we should have here. Every 2 years, all the big shot, Catholic big shot, or politicians, all those who have an influence, they meet and they want to reflect, to pray every 2 years. This in French is semaine sociale. Semaine sociale, social week. And the social week. And every 2 years they propose, they publish a kind of book about that, so the people can be aware that, you know, we have to improve, to change something, to reflect on the problem of our society. And that the Catholic Church is very powerful. We are the most important hybrid evangelical because we have a saint. Everything is saint. One Catholic Church. So imagine if all the Catholics were in politics, in economy, they were able to reflect on social problems, to read the gospel and to read the teaching of the church, of the Pope on that problem, to pray together during 1 week every 2 years. And we need lay people. Another thing also, a priest can do nothing alone. He must work with lay people. Don't forget, the lay people are the people of God, not the priests. The priests are the service of the lay people. And that is the central teaching. And if you read, one of the most important texts of Vatican II is Gaudium et Spes. What is Gaudium et Spes? Is the church in his time. How the church has to deal with the concrete problem of our time. Not to be here, mystic, no, concrete. Jesus was a worker, don't forget that. He was a carpenter. He was not an ideologist, he was a practical man. So it is, think about that. That class for me is very important. Very important because you can become, you must become, those who will try to improve the situation. You say, oh Father, we can do nothing. Yes, but you know, a little drop of water can say, I can do nothing. But without other drop of water, you have the Atlantic Ocean. No? What is the Atlantic Ocean? What is the Pacific Ocean? It's an accumulation of drop of water. So if we don't begin with drop of water, we have nothing. So nothing, that is central. Huh? Okay, so class struggle, I told you politics is a fight. I will say social ethic is a fight. If you become a priest, if you become a social worker, you have to fight all your life against injustice. Because you will suppress one injustice here, and when you turn your back, there is another there. It's like terrorism. Huh? You stop terrorism here, but another one begins there. And that is the reality, because man is selfish. And because we are selfish, so that is, you have the most important idea I give you. So read the text of, especially those paragraphs, especially that, and read also Dr. Schweizger. It's excellent, very interesting to read, very interesting, and it gives you a lot of good intuition. We can spend many hours only on that text, but I don't have time. So we finished this morning the study of capitalism. You have a break with a game before, and next time we begin to study Marxism on the foundation, philosophical foundation of Marxism. So now I am waiting you for the game. I prepare my whistle. Okay, can you stop, brother?